Salvetiones, Egosum Magister Sullivan. We're back with Apollo and Daphne, lines 490 through 502. So here, Apollo, called Phoebus, loves, and his love and desire both blind him to the reality of his situation and rob him of his prophetic ability, which is to see the future. Ovid compares Apollo's longing for Daphne to a bonfire of sheaves of wheat and to the flames of a burning hedge. Two reasonable prosaic rural scenes, except perhaps for the swiftness with which the fire engulfs the foliage. So here we dive in. So Apollo loves, and he desires the wedding of Daphne, having been seen, or if we wanted to say it, these are genitives. Um, uh, so the wedding or the to wed Daphne after she was seen or when she was seen. Okay, and he hopes for that which he desires. And his prophetic abilities, his oracles, deceive him, or literally deceive that man. And again, this is referring to Apollo, to Phoebus. And just as uh, light or nimble stalks are burned, so um, this is a passive verb, are burned or will be burned with the ear of corn. So are burned with the ear of corn having been laid aside, having been removed. Or just as the hedges burn because of the torches, which, by chance, the traveler either he moved too close, or now he left under the sunlight, under the daylight. In such the same way, the god left or went away into flames. And in such a way, or thus, he is burned in his entire heart. And so, a couple things to note. Well and well means either or. And here we have ut and ut. These are just like or as, so this sets up a simile, right, between those things that are burning, and then down here with the god in flames with desire, passion, or love. And so here we have seek and seek, right? And this is a poetic device called anaphora. Anaphora is when you have repetition of the beginning of successive phrases or words at the beginning of phrases, so seek and seek. I dare say that ut and ut could also set up one as well for anaphora, but again, this is a simile which sets up a comparison, which Ovid and other poets love to do. Okay? All right, and he nourishes a sterile love by hoping, a barren love by hoping. So it's indicative here as sterile love is something that's not meant to be. And he, so notice the tense too. Our verb tenses are all present here. So it's as if it's happening in real time. And so he watches her unadorned hair to hang. This is our infinitive. Like we get the word suspend from this, to hang on her neck. And ait, he says, what would it be if her hair would be arranged, would be neatly arranged? So in the sense that she would be even more fascinating or beautiful if she had her hair nicely combed or nicely arranged. And so he sees her eyes, and her eyes are doing two things. Bicantes is going with oculos, and similes is also going with oculos. And these are both going to be ablatives. This should be an ablative too. I know this is the dative because of with similes. All right, so he sees her eyes shining because of or with fire, and eyes similar to the stars. He sees, again, so repetition, he sees her kisses. This could also be her lips in a kissing way, which is enough to have, which is not enough to have seen. He praises her fingers and her hands and her arms and the upper arms uh, exposed, more exposed, more exposed in the middle part. And so, again, notice here that there's interlocking word order. So this is another poetic device where it looks like the words are embracing each other. Also, we have que, and et. Right? So this is something called polysyndeton. So these are enclitics that are attached to a word to make and here instead of using et or ac or aquae. And so there's not a need for all of those, but because there is, it's emphasizing that he is looking at her fingers, to her hands, to her arms, to her upper arms. So it's kind of like emphasizing that progression of him looking at Daphne. And so finally, and then so this ollie is dropped out. So there's a thing my teacher taught me in high school. Whereas if there's si, nisi, nomine, every ollie takes a holiday or every ollie drops away. So ollie qua is anything or something. But you're just going to see qua. So just see if you see si, nisi, nomine, you're not going to see the ollie next to it. So any if anything hides or if any part lies hidden, he thinks it better, right? So he thinks that that is better. So it's like one of those expressions where the more you hide, the more kind of the desire is there. This phraseology is also echoed in Pyramus and Thisbe, but their love is a purer love because it's returned. Whereas we know that Daphne, having been shot with the arrow to repulse love, is not about Apollo, and Apollo is very much about pierced to the bone, pierced to the marrow, in love with Daphne. So we know that love is deep. So again, that is Apollo and Daphne, lines 490 through 502. It's titled Love Hurts. And a couple of good things to note again, that there's that simile comparing Apollo's love to that of a kind of a hitch fire, and it burns deeply. And again, there's this use of interlocking word order here, or it's called synchesis, and then the que, and the anaphora above, all to emphasize, Apollo's love. Okay, take care, everybody. Curate ut valiatis.